The recent updates to War Thunder were meant to bring huge improvements for the players that enjoy the more difficult and often neglected simulator modes for tanks and aircraft. However, since the Red Skies update, the number of people playing Sim, myself included, has dropped off dramatically. Why is this? Well, there are a few contributing factors, first being the horrendous implementation of OpenXR in the game, which made it pretty much unplayable for most VR users in the first couple of weeks following the Red Skies update. Now, Gaijin have since put through several hotfixes to try and rectify the issue, and granted, some have worked. However, many players still have issues in VR, particularly users of the HP Reverb G2, I believe, and it can be generally agreed that the overall clarity of the game has been reduced for VR users. I personally have found a reduction in sharpness in the game, which has led to increased eye strain and a reduction in the amount of time I can play the game in general, which is incredibly disappointing for me, an avid sim player. The VR issues have pushed a lot of players away from the game for the moment, perhaps forever. Many people I used to fly with do not play the game much at all, mostly because they can't get it running in VR anymore. Yes, a lot of them have the option to switch over to TrackIR, but if you're like me, most of the time, once you've tried VR, there's really nothing else for it, and the fact that we can no longer play a game that was praised for its VR performance in VR at all is incredibly disheartening, and there's no wonder why there's a reduction in sim players who enjoy the game in VR. Another thing that's forcing sim players away, and sim players specifically, is the fact that Gaijin seem to be doing nothing about rigged sim games, where players are taking up to a dozen alt bot accounts to farm kills for research points and Silver Lions. Now, as the mechanics for paying out Silver Lions and RP are based on in-game performance for vehicles and nations, this has led to crippling nerfs for various aircraft within the game. Now, Gaijin have told the sim community that these results should not be affecting the sim rewards too much, as those rigged lobbies are in the minority. Well, considering that during most of the days the number of rigged lobbies outweigh the amount of regular lobbies for the past 6 months, I find that incredibly hard to believe, and it makes me think that most people in Gaijin have never touched a sim game in their life. Perhaps the biggest factor that's pushing people away, however, is the general economy and reward system itself. Overall, over the past several years, there have been many adjustments, often reductions, to the sim economy, and the biggest one, without a doubt, has arrived with the Red Skies update. Now, after Red Skies, the way that the game records battle activity was changed, and players now have a lower activity percentage at the end of the game. Now, battle activity has a huge impact on the amount of rewards you get at the end of a game, and this reduction has hurt sim rewards significantly. Now, I personally think this was done as a way for Gaijin to combat AFK farming accounts, and credit to them if that is the case. However, they have implemented this fix in a way that has once again affected the entire player base rather than the target itself, which should come as no surprise to anyone. Now, this economic change has severely reduced the rewards in Sim for both RP and Silver Lions, to the point that it is impossible to finish a game on a profit due to the high Silver Lion spawn costs of many aircraft that Gaijin consider to be high performing. Now, I'd go on a rant about repair costs and why they should not be used for balancing purposes, but I'd be wasting my breath, as Gaijin has no intention of listening to that particular line of complaint from anyone. A quick look in the forums will tell you all you need to know about that particular topic. Now, all that being said, there have been some very positive changes to the sim space recently. Now, the implementation of large airfields in several maps is a welcome relief to jet players and those who enjoy flying heavy bombers. The introduction of missile defences for airfields has reduced the airfield strafing problem, and Tunisia is no longer a map used exclusively for zombing in the higher tiers. Last Grey Angel has been doing great work on updating the Enduring Confrontation missions with updated units, new mission mechanics, and has been actively collaborating with the player base for feedback and bug reports, which is excellent to see. However, these wonderful changes to the sim mechanics won't mean anything if most of the player base has abandoned the game before those changes can be fully realised. VR has to be fixed, the abuse of sim has to be stopped or at least curbed, and most importantly of all, there must be a fair reward system that reflects the unique challenges of sim games. Right now, the rewards are calculated exactly the same as RB, but with a different percentage on the modifiers for the rewards. I think most players will agree that the biggest thing pushing them away in sim is the severe reduction in rewards that we have seen. Unlike other, more serious flight sims, War Thunder does not give you everything out of the box. You have to earn the aircrafts you want to fly. And many people, myself included by the way, see no point in working towards the next aircraft if a 20-kill game gives me bugger all as a reward. Right now, War Thunder is serving as the best free advertising that DCS and IL-2 could ever wish for, especially with all of the summer sales going on at the moment. Now, speaking of those other flight sims, I've spent the past year and a bit working on my skills in DCS and IL-2, and I now feel confident enough to make content with those games. And let me tell you, if War Thunder Sim does not see the improvements that it desperately needs, and soon, you won't be surprised if you see most of the player base completely migrate to those two games. I'm already halfway there myself, and it won't take much more to completely push me away. Now in War Thunder, there isn't some quick, simple fix for a lot of these issues. They are complicated. However, that does not excuse the sheer neglect that Sim has been feeling for the past few years. Now people will say that this is because of the small player base. Small player base of Sim means it gets a small amount of effort. I guarantee you that the player base for War Thunder Sim would grow considerably if Gaijin actually invested in it. I know a lot of arcade players and a lot of realistic battle players who want to play Sim, but they see no point in learning a game mode with poor rewards and a game mode that feels half abandoned by the developers of said game mode. Why would you even bother investing time in it if you know that you're going to get nowhere with it? Now I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on these issues, so please leave a comment down below and don't forget to check out the Sim section of the forums if you want your voice to be officially heard on the matter. Now say what you wish about the forums, it can't be denied that the devs do keep an eye on them. Anyway, that's enough ranting from me today, so I will just say thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Goodbye.